Now we are going to start the RH criteria chapter. So this chapter is about determining the stability of the given control system. So here you can see the diagram here. This diagram shows a closed loop control system with RFS as the input, CFS as the output, GFS is the forward path transfer function, and HFS is the feedback path transfer function. So here the transfer function of the closed loop system is given by CFS by RFS is equal to GFS divided by 1 plus GFS into HFS. Here the denominator of the transfer function, that is 1 plus GFS into HFS, is equal to 0. So this is known as the characteristic equation of the control system. So this equation play a major role in determining the stability of the system, and the roots of the characteristic equation, that is 1 plus GFS HFS equal to 0, are known as poles of the transfer function or poles of the system, and the location of poles will play a major role in determining the stability of the system. First we are going to discuss about the stability aspect with respect to S domain. So we know S is given by sigma plus j omega, so that means S is a complex domain, sigma is the real axis and j omega is the imaginary axis. So this is the real axis sigma and this is the imaginary axis, that is j omega, and this side is the positive real axis and this side is the negative real axis. Similarly here positive imaginary axis on upwards and downwards, that is negative real axis. The location of poles in this S domain will going to determine the stability of the system. If the poles are located on left hand side of the S plane, so that is known as LHP, that is left hand side of S plane, then the system will going to be stable. Similarly, if the location of the poles are on the right side of S plane or on the RHP, then the system will going to be unstable. And if the poles are located on the imaginary axis, that is here and here, then the system will going to be a conditionally stable system. So now here this is the sigma j omega axis, or in the S domain the location of poles will going to give us the stability of the system. So now see here in this particular diagram in the S domain, here you can see one pole on the negative real axis, okay, and the output response of such a system is given by this diagram, okay. So now here the diagram will clearly shows us the system will going to be stable. Similarly in this diagram two poles are there. So now here the two poles are complex conjugate poles, or the roots of the characteristic equation for this particular system are given by complex roots, and the output of the system in time domain is like this, okay. So here also you can see the system will going to be stable after some time, okay. Now when the poles of the transfer function or poles of the characteristic equation will be on the imaginary axis, so there are no real parts here, so only two complex conjugate poles are there and both are on the imaginary axis with real part equal to 0, then the system response will be given by this kind of waveform. Here you can see it is having sinusoidal continuous oscillations, and hence this system is called as marginally stable system, okay. So now when the poles of the transfer function will move to the right of the S domain, whether it may be real or whether it may be complex, then you can see very clearly the system response will be increasing with the time, and the system will become unstable after some time. Okay, so here we discussed about the location of poles in the S domain and their output responses. Now here you can see whenever the poles are located on the left side of the j omega axis, then the system will going to be stable. So now you can see in this particular diagram 3 poles are there. So this pole is real pole and these 2 are complex conjugate poles. As they are located on the left side of the S plane, the system is going to be stable. Okay. Similarly, now see in this diagram how many poles are there in this particular system. Here it consists of 5 poles, so which are marked here by a cross. So 2 poles are complex and they are located on the LHS. So and here you can see one pole is located at the origin and another 2 poles are located on the imaginary axis. That means the real part will be 0 for these 2 complex poles. Okay, so here this particular system will going to be critically stable because here 2 poles are located on the imaginary axis. Similarly, now you see in this diagram 4 poles are there. 2 poles are located at the origin and these 2 are complex conjugate poles. As 2 poles are located at the origin, the system will going to be unstable. Okay, so 2 pole at the origin corresponds to 1 by s square in the transfer function. Okay, similarly, now if in the last figure you can see here the number of poles are 3. These 2 are complex conjugate poles which are located on the left hand side of the S plane, but you can see here there is one pole is located on the right side of the S plane. So whenever the poles are located on the right side of the S plane, then the system will going to be unstable. Okay, so this you must remember. Now the stability will be depending upon the location of poles in the S domain. Okay, so but for higher order equations it will be difficult to calculate the poles here. Okay, for example, if I say s square plus 5s plus 6, then it can be easily factorized into s plus 3 into s plus 2 equal to 0. Hence s is equal to minus 3 and minus 2. So these are the location of the poles. So definitely that will going to be a stable system. But if the order of the characteristic equation increases, so then it will be difficult to calculate the roots of the characteristic equation. In our calculator also you can find the roots of the characteristic equation up to 4th order. So after that it is difficult to calculate it. Okay, so hence now we must find a way without actually calculating the location of poles can we access the stability, and that can be done by using the Rauther's criteria. So for Rauther's criteria, 2 necessary conditions are there for stability and one sufficient condition is there. Now in general the characteristic equation is represented by this particular equation, that is a0 into s power n plus a1 into s to the power n minus 1 plus an is equal to 0, where a0 is greater than 0. Okay, so here 2 sufficient conditions are all the coefficients of this characteristic equation must be real and they must have the same sign. It may be positive or it may be negative, but all the coefficients of this characteristic equation must be having the same sign. So that means a0, a1 up to an all must be having the same sign, usually positive, and none of the coefficient value should be equal to 0. From a0 to an there must be some value to all the coefficients. No, so none of the coefficients should be equal to 0. So then the system will be unstable if you are going to see the response of the system. Okay, so first we need to check for the necessary conditions to assess the stability. Okay, now here we can say for the second one, none of the coefficients should be equal to 0. Okay, so now see here, why is that? The condition, the above two conditions are necessary but not sufficient, because see, if you take this characteristic equation here, s cube plus s square plus 10s plus 48 equal to 0, and if you are going to find the roots of the characteristic equation, then it is s plus 3, s minus of 1 plus j4 and s minus 1 plus j4. It is having 3 roots. One is on the negative real axis, and these two are the complex poles, and these two you are going to find it on the now right hand side of the s plane. So that's why here these two equations or these two conditions are necessary conditions but not sufficient conditions. Okay, so now once the characteristic equation is known, first we need to check for the necessary conditions. So what are those? You need to check from a0 to an, all must having the same sign, and none of the coefficients must be absent. Okay, so these two conditions we need to check, and then we are going to check the stability of the given system by using the RH criteria. So this RH criteria represents a method of determining the location of poles of characteristic equation with respect to the left half of S plane or right half of S plane without actually solving the equation. Here, in case of Routh stability criteria, we are going to form a Routh table, or it is also known as RH array or Routh array, by using the coefficients of the characteristic equation. So remember here, the first two of the Routh array, we are going to use the characteristic equation coefficients, and then we are going to calculate the remaining rows. Okay, the first two rows, the first row consists of all odd terms, first term, second term, third term,